I have broken my hand, I've torn my tricep, I've hit my head on the board twice. Diving's really nice. Hi British Vogue, I'm Tom Daly and this is what's in my bag. So, we have here a lovely little Dior bag and it is stunning. Okay, first things first. I know this looks really random and you're probably thinking, are you going around washing cars? But this is something that I use for diving every single day because when we're spinning around, we need to make sure that we're not wet because if we're wet, we're slippery and the G-force when we're spinning around will pull us out of our dive and we'll crash land. We don't need any belly flops in the Olympics. I also got this tie-dyed as a little pride flag because I think it's really important as an out athlete to be visible. I recently competed in Qatar at the World Championships where it's illegal to exist there, I guess, in certain ways. And I think it's important to show up, be visible, and be proud to be who you are, as well as doing the best that you can in the pool. That's what this little bad boy does for me. Oh gosh, there's so many things in here. Tape. We hit the water when we're diving at 35 miles an hour, and it's the height of 2 double-decker buses and half a car piled on top of each other. So the impact is pretty intense. I tend to tape up my thumb and my wrists just to be able to protect my joints when I hit the water. I have had so many injuries when it comes to diving. I have broken my hand, I've torn my tricep, I've hit my head on the board twice. Diving's really nice. Diving is quite the difficult thing. I've gone from being the youngest back in 2008 to now being the granddad of the team. I have to treat my body very differently to how I did when I was training when I was younger. It's hard to say if this is going to be my last Olympics because if you had asked me in Tokyo, I probably would have been like, yep, that was my last one. Yet here I am, going again. And the next Olympic Games after Paris will be in LA, which is now where I live. I think I might be a little bit, like, you know, too old. This is 100% sour tart cherry juice. Essentially, it's just filled with antioxidants and it helps with sleep and recovery. This is something that's really changed the game for me. I used to struggle with sleep a lot and I used to really kind of get stressed going into competitions and these just really help. So I like to have one of these before bed. We'll dive back into the bag. I, of course, have some yarn on me at all times. Also my knitting needles, which come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. I mean, I've got some 6.5 millimeters here, and I've also got some 15 millimeter circular needles. So for all my knitting fans out there, circular needles are a game changer. Knitting for me became my therapy. For so much of my day, it's spent stressing about what dives I'm going to be doing, what my competitions are going to be like, how am I going to be able to balance looking after our little ones and cooking them dinner, and then I've got to go to training and all these different things. This is the one thing that allows me to literally switch off. And I can just sit down in a coffee shop and knit for hours on end, honestly. There's something that's so satisfying to me about just having that rhythm and that little click-clack of the knitting needles. There is not a day that goes by where I don't knit. One of my favorite pieces of knitwear that I think, you know, it pretty much went viral, the J.W. Anderson patchwork cardigan. And they eventually released a pattern to be able to make it yourself. So I did make one. That's just something really special as well, of being able to see something and make it. It's also taught me a lot that I can use in my everyday life, because sometimes if you make a mistake and you have to start again, you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. So I've been able to use that mentality going into diving as well. What have we got in here next? I've got some US dollars and some pounds and my passport. I'm traveling non-stop and you can see it's pretty well loved. I've got all of these stickers over them. I don't even know what this is. A baggage receipt? Okay. It's a very, very full passport, actually. I've got so many different visas and stamps. I've got one of those extra large passports as well that has all of the extra pages, which is good. During the Olympics, they had a Tokyo 2020 stamp, which I think is pretty cool. Oh no, the bag's flying everywhere. Right, a water bottle is key for me because you've got to stay hydrated. This is just my comfy travel jumper, but it's also from the very first things that I did with Made with Love, my little knitting situation, and it's just like a cute little red heart. It's got knit stitches. What else we got? Oh yes, a dummy. I find these everywhere. in the bottom of bags. Turn any corner in the house and there'll be like a dummy on the floor. I have one in my bag at all times because you never know when you're going to need one in an emergency. I'm the most forgetful person in the world and I lose things all the time. And this time I traveled over without my AirPods and I had to use these wired ones. I want to put a camera in my bag to see how they end up like this. And when I say I'm forgetful, I left my laptop in California and I also lost my phone. Today, we're going screen free. Oh, okay. Having just come back from a competition, I have got a couple of medals from the last competition that I did, which was in Berlin. There was a gold in the team event and a gold in the 10-meter synchro. So they just happen to be in my bag. And I promise I don't have them in there all the time. I always got some gum in my bag. You never know if you're gonna have like a onion bhaji for lunch. And then a travel adapter. The contents of my bag, I feel like are quite strange. Like it has such an array of different things, going from like a chamois that you might use on a car, but I use to dive, to knitting needles and yarn. This pile is very me. This is my life on a table. Well, thank you for watching. That was what was in my bag. I hope you enjoyed.